Hello and welcome to From the Be-All and the Burnley podcast. This is the rapid reaction to Burnley 2, Leeds United 0. Paul Woodhouse is with me. The rest of the lads, I presume, are in a boozer somewhere celebrating that we had a must-win, that we won. A fantastic result. Paul, what did you make of that?
It might not have been the most entertaining 90 minutes, but it wasn't quite as backs to the wall as it may seem in terms of some of the stats. I thought we defended wonderfully. I think the only downside, if we're going to be slightly critical, is some of our hold-up play up top. We struggled keeping hold of the ball, but it doesn't really matter if we're scoring goals like that, does it?
Well, let's talk about them goals, because they were two of the best goals you could see for Burnley. Just go on. I mean, that first one was beauty.
I mean, sometimes these goals just seem to be in kind of slow motion, and they just seem so obviously, precisely brilliant. And that ball from Walker, I've complained about him previously, and that's the kind of ball that you expect from somebody like him. And for Ugochukwu just to have that, it was near as damn it a free header. It was as good as a full-back ball, the way he wrapped it round first team and planted it on his head. Bang, there you go, 1-0. And Tchauna's was something else entirely. That thing, you could see it even in real time. It was dipping, bending back. It had all sorts of shit on it. It was like one of those plastic balls that you bought at St. Anne's when you were 5 or something.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous. And that's a goal of the season contender. And if you do that kind of stuff, it doesn't matter if the other side has 83% possession. It's about making chances count, isn't it?
Well, they had lots of possessions, and Dubravka's made that save early on against Aronson were crucial, weren't it? Where they could have got ahead there. And he's made a couple of other saves, but he hasn't had like an absolute, busy day, has he?
No.
I mean, Leeds for me, we talk about, survival in this division being about nothing more than finding 3 teams who are worse than us. Well, I think we've found one today, haven't we?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And it's that thing again, it's very similar in some respects as to how we set up against Sunderland. It was a case whereby, go on then, if you're going to beat us, then you've got to play around us. And we were that solid, and we cut everything off basically through the middle of the park. I thought Florentino was impeccable, as with Ugochukwu. In fact, all 3 of them in the middle of the park.
Oh, Cullen
was fantastic. Exactly. And we forced them out wide, and it took them until about the 60th minute to start working out to throw balls across. And it was only really, that Aronson chance was due to Anthony giving the ball away.
Yeah.
And I think the second chance was a stray ball. It may have been a cross pass from Walker, and it was basically our mistakes that let them in. It wasn't due to any huffing and puffing they'd done on their behalf.
No,
so I thought we were extremely resolute, weren't we?
We were, and the defence was back to like it was in the Championship, with the Stev nodding everything away. I thought Tchaouna did very well alongside him. We moved away from the back 5, didn't we, until the last, reintroducing it towards the end. But you sort of think with that, right, is he confident enough in Tchaouna now that he can play that too? Or you think, like, it's Leeds, we've got to win this game. It is a must-win game, and so do you sacrifice that extra safety of the third centre-half? But it seemed to work all right, really, didn't it?
Yes. You can only play what's in front of you week in, week out. But you'd like to think that you'd take that into, definitely against Wolves and against better sides, and it's only going to breed confidence, isn't it?
Yeah, the only downside of it was less attacking play from Hartman and Walker, probably, although there was one run from Walker where he just turned on those turbo jets, and he just the rest of the team couldn't keep up with him. He'd gone all that way, and he had to hold up the ball waiting for everyone to get up with him. But the idea that he's lost his legs is for the birds. It's ridiculous.
It's and just silly, isn't it, that?
He's got that ability, even under pressure slightly inside the box, where 99% of the players would just hoof it. He knows, I've just got a little bit of time just to put my body there and play a ball out. He just finds time on his composure, in short, defensively. He's an international class defender, and we see that, don't we?
Yeah, we did. We did today. I think, like you said, that lung busting run And the fact that he held it up, there were people, they were saying on the telly, weren't they, that he should have given the ball slightly earlier to Fleming, but I don't know what Fleming would have done with it. And to be fair, from that came the Tchaouna goal, didn't it? I thought it was very good, but I thought as well, the way we played out from the back at times, some of the angles that we were creating, whether having that extra man in midfield and being able to, but you could tell that Walker was kind of tucking in, making that third when he needed to, pushing up when he needed to. And I just thought at times, especially that first 30 minutes, the way that we were playing out from the back, it was purposeful and it looked quite decent. And the only criticism I'd say was on either flank. I thought both Anthony and Run Larson were very poor today. But it's a lot to ask of him. But at the end, you've got to have that outlet, and we didn't have that outlet. So in some respects, you'd say that we were quite fortunate with the goals that we did score. Other days, another side would have nicked it 1-0. Could have quite easily been a draw. But I think if we can just improve ourselves, I thought Fleming played well. I thought he made some nice little layoffs, but he's not going to run onto anything, is he?
No.
But I thought if we can improve some of our hold up play and some of our attacking play, then I think we become a different side again altogether. Because we did show a lot of solidity, didn't we?
We did. I must admit, I thought it was a big test for Fleming today. But the more you watch of the game, the more you sort of feel for Lyle Foster in a sense that, like, being that lone number 9 for Burnley is a thankless task. It really is.
Exactly.
Because Fleming has also worked his socks off, which we say every week about Foster, that you can't fault him for his work rate. Well, we can't fault Fleming for his work rate today. But they're chasing scraps all the time. They're putting themselves about. It's almost like the role is as much to disrupt the defence's distribution as it is to actually get on the end of anything and create anything. And you're right, Jadon Anthony wasn't firing today. It was just an off day for him. We'll leave that there. JBL, I think this was one of those games where you see his name on the team sheet and you go, really? And you think, right, okay, well, take this chance then, take this moment. And he really didn't, did he? He had that one opportunity in the first half where it broke to him on the right. He's going into the box and you just never felt for 1 second that anything was going to come of it. But he was much better when Tchaouna obviously came on for him, wasn't it?
But it's one of those, isn't it? It's like you say, that number 9 is a thankless task, but also on both of those flanks, it's fairly thankless as well. Especially with JBL, that spell in the first third, it was tidy enough, but then he's expected to do auxiliary fullback work for the next, for the rest of the half, and then obviously he picked up whatever niggle he's picked up. But it's like, it is thankless for folks out wide who are then expected to drop back, because obviously it's Parker's first thought is, how do we defend this lead? And then how do we defend for the last 15? And considering we brought Barnes on and, Hannibal as well and Laurent, we didn't half pack that midfield, did we? And he's defensive first. He's always going to be. He's not going to think, well, I'll throw Breuer up front, and defend from the front. Although I thought Ugochukwu doing that kind of Hannibal role worked very well.
Oh, in that first half hour when we played our best football, didn't we, really? Ugochukwu were almost playing as a 10, powering forward. He had one fantastic run, but he also was involved and was looking, and he's a lot more than just a defensive midfielder, isn't he? That's what he showed.
Yeah,
he can play a bit. He can dribble. He can pass the ball. He's not just a destroyer.
But that's what's deceptive about this middle three. They can all play a bit. They're not just there to get the foot in or just do a little bit of a niggle and be shithouses. Hannibal's basically a shithouse, isn't he? With the occasional pass.
Well, that were a double shithouse substitution, bringing him and Barnes on at the same time.
Exactly.
They might as well have just put like a giant steaming turd on that fucking big screen.
Exactly.
Just said, here we go, it's shithouse time.
Yeah,
and it was.
The fact that, but all three of them can make a pass, and they did all make a pass, and they work very well between them, I think.
Yeah, I like that look at that midfield. I think there is some promise there having those three in there together, because we wondered, can it work together, those three? And it can. You sacrifice some things. You sacrifice having the extra defender at the back sweeping up, as it were. and you sacrifice a little bit of if the wide players if you played a 4-4-2 with just two of them, but it worked, and they are our three best midfielders, so they need to be on the field, I think.
But instead of having like Laurent as a part of a back three pushing in to midfield, having people like Florentino being able to just like drop off from midfield, and he's obviously an infinitely better player. It would be like Archie. That's how they played. Thomas Frank played at Archie Gray, isn't it? When we played Tottenham at their place, first game of the season, having him there as a defensive shield, and I thought it worked extremely well. Now, how it'll work against better sides, I've genuinely no idea.
We'll see, won't we? But we're out of the bottom three now.
Well,
I'm sure the lads will get into this more in the debrief tomorrow. But we're out of the bottom three. We're actually only 2 points behind Newcastle United after the same amount of games, after the start we've had in fixtures as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's hope now, isn't there? There's hope.
Well, it's the curse of being a Burnley fan, isn't it? It was going to be a wild overreaction, whatever happened today. A vast majority of people thought, it was guaranteed. It was a must-win game. People had been hanging from the rafters had we not got a result today. So let's put it this way: we're doing what we need to do against the sides that we expect to do things against. And if we can keep a season up of doing this kind of thing, if the sides around us come to our place and we beat them all 2-0, we wind up getting results, we are going to have a better season than we give ourselves credit for, especially if we go on a run, especially if we go to somewhere like Wolves and get a result and things like that. So, so far, so good, really.
Yeah, just on that must-win thing, because our friend of the pod, Gary Hunt, was popping up in the comments on Twitter today saying, how can you call it a must-win before the game? And I must admit, I'm being slightly provocative all the time by calling it a must-win, because I do think it's a totally meaningless phrase, because basically all you're doing is saying, we've got to go out to win this game. It doesn't mean the season's over if you don't win. It means you've got to play to win. That's what I'm stressing with that one. And I thought today was a game we had to go out there and try and win that game, because playing for if you get a point at home to Spurs, you say, all right, we'll take that point.
Yeah.
You get a point at home to Leeds. Let's be honest. Leeds looked like they could very easily go down. There were nothing in that Leeds performance that me said, ooh, you have to watch out for Leeds. They might have signed players in summer. They don't look much better than last year, do they?
They arguably look worse. And it's like we were saying on the preview, the debrief. It was a case of they've come up and they look to be better equipped to do the dirty work, but they didn't today. It's like against better sides, they can obviously nullify them a little bit and keep it tight and not get steamrolled. But when they're asked to do something a little bit different, i.e. chase a game or whatever, they didn't really threaten. And granted, don't get me wrong, I think against the better sides, against the Liverpools and what have you, some of those chances that they did create, at least one would have gone in. They did create enough off chances. Yeah, it is. No,
that's
you're right.
Point,
it
is that you've got to, if we can get to a situation where you've got to be as good as Liverpool and City and Spurs, etc., to beat us, then we're going to be all right.
Yeah.
And so far,
that's valid.
So far, that's what's happened.
Yeah.
We've drawn with Forest, we've beaten Sunderland, we've beaten Leeds, we've gone very close to getting points against United and Liverpool.
Yeah.
Comfortably beaten by Spurs, by Villa, by City.
Yeah. And
that should be enough to keep you up if you can do that kind of thing.
If you were to look at this point in time of the season, and you'd where we are and what we've done, you'd be relatively happy. In fact, you'd be more than happy, especially considering we're expecting to be, at least bottom three, if not bottom entirely. And so, being out of the bottom three, you can't complain too much, and you can see where there's improvement. Today wasn't a lucky win, and neither was it against Sunderland. They were well-crafted, well-grafted wins, and it's more a case of being able to get that kind of momentum. And I think, arguably, today is a good signifier of if we can make sure that we, improving the areas that we know we need to improve in, i.e. up top, you know, and be able to play a little bit better. But that's a confidence thing, isn't it? As well as a personnel thing. And if we can do that, then we're still going to be in there and thereabouts. I'm not going to say we're going to stay up, but I think we could.
Say it, Woody.
I daren't, not yet, but we could.
Well, I think the thing is, if you don't have a strike threat, and we don't have, you know, and you don't create a load of chances, because we don't, you've got to score cracking goals out of nothing, and then we're doing that.
And we've scored some absolute belters. Our highlights reel at the end of this season, as long as it continues, is going to be something else. Because that Tchaouna goal is a goal of the season contender.
Oh.
And
he hit the woodwork in a game earlier this season, didn't he? With a similar.
He in fact, they worked twice. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But I don't care what they do if they just come on and do shit like that.
Yeah.
I can live with it all day.
We'll take it. Right, we'll leave the rest for the boys on Sunday to put together for you your Sunday night, Monday morning listening. Enjoy your Saturday night, because it's different, isn't it, with a win? You know, it's
rare.
The weekend's looking up. Have a good one. Thanks very much for joining us. Don't forget to tune in again Sunday night, Monday morning for the debrief with the rest of the lads who are at this moment supping a pint or two on their way back from Turf Moor. Have a good one, and up the Clarets.